The Rock makes his return to WWE on SmackDown. We've got scrap plans for a major WrestleMania match, and a top star has left AEW. Stay tuned for the news. Honestly, Sam, I couldn't believe it when I opened up Twitter last night, or X as it's now called, after the Cultaholic summer party, and The Rock is back.
Yeah.
He just decided to turn up on SmackDown.
It feels a bit like a parallel universe, doesn't it?
Right, like it was an incredible segment, but it was one that we didn't expect on a random episode of SmackDown in Denver, Colorado. I don't think anyone booking a ticket for that show would expect to see The Rock there. Or Pat McAfee. Pat McAfee also made his return last night to WWE. He came down to the ring, confronted Austin Theory, and sort of made allusions to the fact that SmackDown was the people's show.
Yeah, they were going back and forth. Theory was like, "This is my show," and he dropped the big line, and then all of a sudden,
we smelled what The Rock was cooking. It hit the noise that crowd made, and
it was just instantly like somebody just took the volume and just went
straight through the ceiling. And it's amazing that The Rock, having been gone for so many years, if we don't count his match with Eric Rowan, it's 10 years.
It's wild, isn't it?
And he's still getting that reaction. He's still getting that pop.
Of course, he's The Rock.
It's The Rock, of course. Well, his music hit. He made his way down to the ring, sort of telling the crowd, he was off the mic, but he's going, I'm home. I see you.
Yep.
I'm home. He confronted Austin Theory when he got in the ring. They had a little bit of a back and forth on the mic. The Rock ran him down, basically. I did feel Austin Theory...
He led the crowd in a chant of "You are an a-hole."
Yes, he did. And it was kind of a dueling chant where one side got to chant "You are," and then the other side got to chant the other half of that.
But don't worry, he swapped the sides, and all sides got to sing all parts.
They did, so it's a great wholesome moment for the city of Denver. But yeah, I thought Theory did quite well in this segment, actually, because... as much criticism as he gets, he's been trusted with Austin. He's been trusted with The Rock. He's been trusted with Cena. He is getting put in these positions where it's like, okay, you're reliable, you're safe. He went in there, he actually held his own side of it.
Well, he cut The Rock off with his own line, right?
Exactly.
It doesn't matter what you think.
He said it's an incredible moment. We've got Rock and Austin in the ring together once again. He did really well in that sort of situation, but eventually, of course, Theory did try attack The Rock, and that never goes well.
No, it ended with the people's elbow.
Yes. Yeah. Hit a most electrifying move in all of entertainment.
All of entertainment. Hit a spine buster, people's elbow, and then Pat McAfee also got to hit a people's elbow on Austin Theory himself. But not only that, The Rock wasn't just done after that segment. In fact, backstage, we cut to them later on in the night. Him and Pat McAfee are just chilling backstage. Pat McAfee goes, I think there's someone over there you can't see. And it is John Cena. In 2023, we have John Cena and The Rock on SmackDown together in a segment, and it made little 10-year-old me very excited. Well, Cena welcomed him home, which I thought was a bit rich.
Cena's only been back in 2 weeks.
But at the same time, Christ, it's The Rock, right? Rock kept reiterating that they were live over and over again, and they're out there doing this in front of a live audience and live TV. And I just feel like, this is a good sign for the TKO era so far.
Right.
Somebody the magnitude of The Rock just turning up on SmackDown.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The first 12 minutes of TKO's era of WWE was The Rock back in WWE. So that was a really cool moment. But prior to SmackDown, The Rock appeared on Pat McAfee's show on ESPN and confirmed some scrap plans for a match with Roman Reigns. Now, for the longest amount of time, we've been speculating it's going to be Rock versus Reigns at WrestleMania. And The Rock has confirmed as much, saying The Rock headlining WrestleMania with Roman Reigns, SoFi Stadium, that was locked. We were doing it, but let me just tell you so. In the beginning of 2022, Nick Khan, who we know, shout out to Nick, but a very good friend of yours, he's the man, he said, because they've got a long relationship, which probably lends to the fact that's why he's made an appearance.
Long-time friends, right?
Long-time friends. He said he was very instrumental in bringing Vince and The Rock together. They flew to LA, they met, they sat, and this was the beginning of 2022, he says. Of course, The Rock has to plug the Terramana.
Yes.
He plugs the Terramana. They toasted life. They toasted the business and started planning this match between himself and Reigns. He said that the potential of it in headlining WrestleMania at SoFi. We shook hands. We hugged right there, all three of us at the table, and said, let's
do this. They said went on to say that they got really, really close, but they couldn't actually nail that thing, he says, like that. So they decided to put the pencils down and say, hey, listen, there's a merger coming up. He said, eventually that will happen. There's WrestleMania in Philadelphia. I'm saying that's a potential too, so I'm open. But he said, let's figure out what the fans deserve for the storyline, which is major, but...
nothing. They deserve nothing.
So he's kind of confirmed that we were going to have the match.
Yeah.
It was locked. It was agreed on a handshake deal. Things changed. But he's open to doing the match in future, maybe Philly.
I've been talking about it for a while. Whenever people kind of bring it up or ask me about it, it's like Roman versus Rock has to surely be kind of the first big ending for Roman's storyline, right? But The Rock can't exactly come back and just win the title. So you need to take care of that side of things first, and then I think it's a case of Rock comes in.
Because it's really for the title of the tribal chief.
Yeah, because Roman's made it all about being the provider for his family, being the big dog, being all this stuff for his family. When The Rock's just sat there making tens of millions every year.
He's chilling.
Just with ease.
Terramana and Mana and being just a cool guy in films. But he was asked by McAfee if the reason he hasn't returned to the ring is because he doesn't want to get hurt. So that other projects don't get stalled, as Sam was saying there. He's making tens of millions and millions and millions.
And when you sign up to be in a film as an actor, there's insurance, there's all these policies. I mean, famously, Tom Cruise does all his own stunts. He smashed his foot to pieces at doing that.
Just jumping across a building
for Mission Impossible.
Held on at the side
and
of a
that held
plane.
shooting up for like 7 months.
Yeah.
So and with that holding up, that means everybody's got to find other jobs. There's a massive insurance payout. There's all sorts of things that go on. So it's something that gets brought up a lot with The Rock. Is this? But he did answer it.
He did answer it. He said it's not the injury that I'm concerned about because that's just part of it.
Yeah.
It's just part of the game that you sign up for. You get hurt. We all get hurt. That's just the way it is. It's not even the schedule because I can control the schedule to a large degree. Me going back to WWE and wrestling a match, it always comes down to the reason why and what can we create that's never been done before for the fans. So that's the idea. And that is kind of what he was alluding to when he said that, so we got really, really close, but we didn't nail that thing.
Yeah.
The way the storyline was lining up this year, it made sense for Cody to go into that match. And maybe that's why WWE went with it. It didn't make sense for The Rock to come back. Maybe in the future, and as The Rock said there, he's open to it. I mean, and he's back on SmackDown.
Just listen to the crowd response again. If you go and watch the clip, it's up on WWE's channel. Just watch it and just listen to the crowd.
The people want it. The people want that match, and I can't blame them at all. But we're going to just jump over to AEW just for a minute here, because according to the Wrestling Observer newsletter, the reason that Proud and Powerful broke up is that because Santana was not happy being used well there that's AEW. While Ortiz was happy after all the years in the business of getting a good paycheck, and he didn't want to leave. They had a little bit of a backstage issue. They've not really been on speaking terms. We know that they teamed at Wembley, but that was part of the sort of deal to allow them to then go off and do their own things. Mike Santana is his new ring name. Santana going with a first name.
I do kind of agree. Like in regards to, there was like a lot of hype around the Proud and Powerful, and then it feels like it just kind of went into kind of park mode.
Yes.
And it was like, well, what are you doing? Like the one of the hottest tag teams you got, and it just didn't feel like it continued through to where it should have gone. I really think they should have had a lot more success as a team together.
They should have had the tag belts, and it just kind of felt like they played second fiddle to whatever faction they were in.
Considering that the history before even AEW, right? Like they're such a good team.
Like the team is LAX for such a long time in Impact, and it is a shame that they've split. Hopefully now that they're both getting to go their own paths within AEW, that might open up a little bit more options for them. But that was confirmation from the Wrestling Observer newsletter there on why they split. But staying with AEW, a top star has looked to have left the company following last night's Rampage. It appears Jade Cargill has left following her loss to Chris Statlander on last night's Rampage for the TBS Championship. Following their match, they hugged in the middle of the ring, with previous reports earlier this week that I think Jade Cargill has kind of been the discussion of the wrestling world for the past couple of days. The previous reports earlier this week noting that it felt like a farewell backstage for her, and a farewell moment. And I'm surprised they showed the hug, but I think they showed the hug because it I feel, and speculation, I think that is her definitely done with the company.
Well, there's plans in the
There
works.
is indeed,
So following her seemingly leaving AEW, Dave Meltzer in the Wrestling Observer newsletter has potentially shed some more light on WWE plans for Jade Cargill. Some in WWE apparently believe that the inaugural AEW TBS champion could be set to come and join the main roster, although the Observer sources in WWE have suggested that no deal has been completed as of writing. Cargill and AEW allegedly parted ways due to Cargill's deal expiring and the two sides being far apart in valuation when it came to money. Whilst WWE would assumedly be set to pay Cargill from, quite a bit of money.
Maybe what she's wanting,
It's suggested that Cargill's skills and experience level aren't quite up to your standard main roster kind of level. So she may have to spend some time in NXT. But again, even there, I think she could absolutely tear through NXT.
Yeah, she could be.
There's a lot of talent she could be working with, and then getting her way through to the main roster. And if she just shows up and goes straight after Becky, I mean, that's immediate importance in the eyes of the fans. It's an immediate route straight across to the main roster while being an NXT star. You can go across and follow Becky and do whatever there. But I think that it's just a no-brainer, right? Jade Cargill is one of the most unique talents out there right now. She's somebody that I would pay good money to see her wrestle Rhea.
I think that's
her versus
thing.
Rhea is like I would.
She looks like a star. She has a lot of charisma. She's got the ability is there. Obviously, she is very, very young in her career, but she has the potential there. And I think, as you said, maybe Becky being NXT Women's Champion right now. Yep. That does lend to maybe Jade going down to NXT and finishing.
A big shock debut would be the best thing.
But also main roster going straight for the top. But I think we've a lot of people, as you said, dream matches: Rhea, Bianca, Charlotte, and Asuka.
AEW as well don't seem to put kind of non-compete clauses on any of the contracts right now, but I imagine down the line they're going to start because if say Jade Cargill can leave and then just rock up.
Hey,
what if she turned up last night, right?
And that's what I tweeted that out. I was saying, what if her deal is up and it's a taped Rampage and she appears on SmackDown before Rampage? Like that, it could have happened. It didn't. Instead, we got The Rock. But it was a pretty good night off wrestling all round. We will be back later on today with more wrestling news because the news just never seems to stop. The Rock's back. I can't believe it. We'll see you later.